All right, and welcome everybody. Um, how's everybody doing this evening? A couple things I want to say first is there's a couple people out there I want to thank. I don't want to mention their names right now. I don't know if they really want their names put out there, but uh, thank you for the gifts for which y'all sent. Really appreciate that, and I really want to tell everybody that's kind of helped me put all this together. I want to tell y'all thank you too. There's it it means a lot to me, and I probably couldn't have done this without y'all. Thank you. Um, I get asked quite often, what about the food laws and things of that nature? One second. But I remember years ago, uh, church was just over with, and I asked my preacher one time. I said, "Preacher," I said, "we're supposed to keep the commandments, the 10 Commandments, right?" "Oh yeah, we're supposed to keep those commandments." "Absolutely, yes, indeed." I said, "Well, why are we fixing to go into the cafeteria here and eat a bunch of bacon and pork and catfish and shrimp, whatever else was on the menu?" And he just about yelled it at me. He says, "Acts chapter 10." So I figure he must have knew what he was talking about. So I just took him at his word and went and ate just like everybody else did. But years later, after I found out a few things that I had been taught, like when I was in school and stuff, was just a blatant lie, I decided to look back on that day that I asked that preacher this and decided that I would read Acts chapter 10 because I had found out that I had been told falsehoods about many other things in scriptures. So I'm going to go over Acts chapter 10 today and see if y'all kind of see the same things I'm seeing here. This is Acts chapter 10. I'm going to read the whole chapter. I'm not going to read just the part that I think I might like. It says, "There was a certain man in Sisera called Cornelius, a centurion of what was called the Italian regiment, a devout man, and one who feared Yahweh with all his household, who gave alms generously to the people and prayed to Yahweh always. About the ninth hour of the day he saw clearly in a vision an angel of Yahweh coming in and saying to him, 'Cornelius.'" Now, one thing I want to point out right here is that Cornelius is not Jewish. He's not of the line of Judah. One second. He's what's considered a Gentile. So anyway, we keep reading here. It says, and when he observed him, he was afraid and said, "What is it, Lord?" So he said to him, "Your prayers and your alms have come up for a memorial before Yahweh. Now send men to Joppa and send for Simon, whose surname is Peter. He is lodging with Simon, a tanner, whose house is by the sea. He will tell you what you must do." And when the angel spoke to him and had departed, Cornelius called two of his household servants and a devout soldier from among those who waited on him continually. So when he had explained all these things to them, he sent them from Joppa. The next day, as they went on their journey and drew near the city, Peter went up on the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. Then he became very hungry and wanted to eat. But while they made ready, he fell into a trance and saw heaven open and an object like a great sheet bound at the four corners descending to him and let down to the earth. In it were all kinds of four-footed animals of the earth, wild beasts, creeping things, and birds of the air. And a voice came to him, "Rise, Peter, kill and eat." But Peter said, "Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything uncommon or unclean." And a voice spoke to him again the second time. And a voice spoke to him again the second time. "What Yah has cleansed, you must not call common." This was done 3 times, and the object was taken up into heaven again. So most of your mainstream Christians will stop right here and say, "See, look, God cleansed all animals. Now we can eat it whatever we want. It's all the animals have been clean." But let's let's look a little further. Let's see if we can't figure out the meaning of the vision, because this is only talking about the vision. Verse 17, it says, "Now while Peter wondered within himself what the vision which he had seen meant, behold, the men who had been sent from Cornelius had made inquiry of Simon's house and stood before the gate. And they called and asked whether Simon, whose surname was Peter, was lodging there. While Peter thought about the vision, the Spirit said to him, Behold, 3 men are seeking you. Arise, therefore, go down and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them." Then Peter went down to them, who had been sent to him from Cornelius, and said, "Yes, I am he whom you seek. For what reason have you come?" And they said, "Cornelius the centurion, a just man, one who fears Yahweh and has a good reputation among all the nation of the Jews, was divinely instructed by a holy angel to summon you to his house and to hear words from you." Then he invited them in and lodged them. On the day that Peter went away with them, and some brethren from Joppa accompanied. On the next day, Peter went away with them, and some brethren from Joppa accompanied him. Now, see, Peter's still pondering on what this vision meant during this time. He just knows that this spirit said, "Go with these people," but Peter doesn't know what kind of message he's bringing to Cornelius yet. Verse 24, it says, "And the following day they entered Caesarea. Now Cornelius was waiting for them, and had called together his relatives and close friends. As Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and worshipped him. But Peter lifted him up, saying, Stand up, I myself am also a man. And he has talked with him. He went in and found many who had come together. Then he said to them, You know how unlawful it is for a Jewish man to keep company with or go to one of another nation. But Yah has shown me that I should not call any man common or unclean. Therefore I came without objection as soon as I was sent for. I asked then, For what reason have you sent for me? So see, Peter just realized what this vision was about. He just realized that the vision that he was given meant that the Gentiles were not unclean or common people. Verse 28 says that pretty plainly. Verse 30, though, it says, So Cornelius said, 4 days ago I was fasting until this hour. And at the 9th hour I prayed in my house, and behold, a man stood before me in bright clothing, and said, Cornelius, your prayer has been heard, and your alms are remembered in the sight of Yahweh. Send therefore to Joppa and call Simon here, whose sure name is Peter. He is lodging in the house of Simon, a tanner by the sea. When he comes, he will speak to you. So I sent to you immediately, and you have done well to come. Now therefore, we are all present before Yahweh to hear all the things commanded you by Yahweh. I think at this point, neither Peter didn't know what he was going to tell Cornelius. Cornelius didn't know what the message was going to be. But I think it dawned on Peter about the same time that this was taking place. In verse 34, he's going to start to explain this vision to Cornelius. It says, Then Peter opened his mouth and said, In truth, I perceive that Yah shows no partiality, but in every nation whoever fears him and works righteousness is accepted by him. That word righteousness, key word. The word which Yah sent to the children of Israel, preaching peace through Yahushua HaMashiach. He is Lord of all. Let's see, hold on. Verse 37, it says, That word you know, which was proclaimed throughout all Judea, and began from Galilee after the baptism which John preached, how Yah anointed Yahushua of Nazareth with the Holy Spirit and with power, who went about doing good and healing all who were oppressed by the devil, for Yah was with him, for Yahweh was with him. And we are witness of all things which he did both in the land of the Jews and in Jerusalem, whom they killed by hanging on a tree. Him Yahweh raised up on the third day and showed him openly, not to all the people, but to witnesses chosen before Yahweh, even to us who ate and drank with him after he rose from the dead. And he commanded us to preach to the people and to testify that it is he who was ordained by Yahweh to be judge of the living and the dead. For him, to him, all the prophets witnessed that through his name, whoever believes in him will receive remission of sins. Now, a lot of people will try to twist that passage around to say, see, all we have to do is believe. Well, I'm gonna be here to tell you that because you believe is why you would want to keep his commandments. It's not that you don't have to keep his commandments because you believe. If you truly believed in the Messiah, if you truly followed him, then you would keep the Father's commandments, because that's what he tells us to do. It's just to walk as he walked. And that's what he did everywhere we read about it. Verse 44 says, While Peter was still speaking these words, the Holy Spirit fell upon all those who heard the word. And those of the circumcision who believed were astonished, as many as came with Peter, because the gift of the Holy Spirit had been poured out on the Gentiles also. See there? For they heard them speak with tongues and magnify Yahweh. Then Peter answered, Can anyone forbid water that these should not be baptized who have received the Holy Spirit just as we have? And he commanded them to be baptized in the name of Yahweh. Then they asked him to stay a few days. Now, if Acts chapter 10 is talking about anything has anything to do with food at all, then this would have meant for Peter to go kill and eat Cornelius. And the last few verses there would have meant for him to use him as a sacrifice. I just don't see. One second. I just don't see why people won't continue to just read a little bit further in the scriptures instead of just reading the things that they like. It's hard for me to fathom, really. The other passage that a lot of people go to whenever they say that the food laws have been done away with is going to be Mark 7, 5 through 13. Let's see here. Pull that up. Mark 7, 5 through 13. I don't find this has anything to do with food either. verse 5, it says, Then the Pharisees and scribes asked him, Why do your disciples not walk according to the tradition of the elders? See, that word tradition is not Torah or commandment or law. That's a tradition of men. But eat bread with unwashed hands. See, there's no Torah command says anything about having to wash your hands before you eat anything. It just tells you to, be clean. Verse 6 says, He answered and said to them, Well, did Isaiah prophesy of you hypocrites, as it is written? Let me reread that. It says, Well did Isaiah prophesy of you hypocrites, as it is written, This people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me, and in vain they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men. The commandments of men is not the commandments of Yahweh. It's not what a lot of people say the commandments of Moses or the law of Moses. There's no such thing as the law of Moses. There's the law of Yahweh that was given to Moses to give to Israel, because Israel was scared to come up there and listen to it themselves. Verse 8, it says, For laying aside the commandment of Yah, you hold the tradition of men, the washing of pitchers and cups, and many other such things you do. Very important what he said right there. For laying aside the commandment of Yah, you hold tradition of men. Maybe next week we'll talk about a few more traditions that people keep without realizing it. Verse 9, it says, He said to them, All too well you reject the commandment of Yah, that you may keep your traditions. For Moses said, Honor your father and your mother, and he who curses father or mother, let him be put to death. But you say, If a man says to his father or mother, Whatever profit you might have received from me is Corban, that is, a gift to Yah, then you no longer let him do anything for his father or his mother, making the word of Yah of no effect through your tradition which you have handed down, and many such things you do. So keeping the traditions is not what Yah wanted. It's not what, how can I put this? It's not what he is commanding us to do. It's what people were commanding the people to do. It's what the Pharisees were commanding the people to do, so they could gain some sort of control or power or some sort of dominion over the people somehow. When we read in 2 Samuel, I forget the chapter where Samuel was supposed to pick a king. It's the same thing. The people didn't want Yeshua as their king. They wanted a human as their king, somebody that they could possibly slide some money under the table, say, hey, here, help me out. Much like a lot of our judicial system does today, I do believe. The Masonic judicial system. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to bring that up and, make that point that, hey, look, that's another thing, okay? Even if you don't even follow the scriptures, why would you want to eat pork, catfish, shrimp, shellfish, unclean flesh anyway? It's killing you. It's literally killing you. It's giving you high blood pressure, possibly give you a stroke one day. Why would you even want to? It's not making a lot of sense to me. I mean, it's one thing if you just really want to because of the taste, that's fine. But why fuss at others for wanting to be biblically clean and try to eat clean and healthy? There's no reason to jump on anybody for wanting to keep his commandments. Those people are wanting to do good. What are you afraid of? Having to do good too one day? We're all going to have to. We're all going to have to follow the commandments, or we're not going to go into the kingdom. At least that's the way I take it. So I don't know what are y'all's thoughts on it, and I see that there's a few people in the chat. Uh, maybe we can get the link dropped here in the chat, and if you'd like, jump on and come visit with me. Tell me what your thoughts are on it. We're gonna try to do this. Here we go. We're gonna try to do this. Try to every episode, unless it just gets out of hand. I think somebody did just. All right. Well, looks like somebody did drop it in the chat, but I see Relentless in there. It's good to see you. I serve the one I am. Chris, Daryl Lee. It's good to see y'all here. Thank y'all for coming, and I hope y'all enjoyed that little study. I didn't have a whole lot to talk about tonight. I've been just kind of busy getting that video put together. I had some complications. At one point, I was making the recording and just hit the X button, shut everything down. I don't even know why I did it. I wasn't even thinking when I did it. I just hit the X, had to start all over. So it took me a little while on that one. And if y'all haven't seen it, it's the truth about the book of Revelation, the word of the Lord. That's the title of it. If you haven't seen it, check it out and let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to cover. If nobody wants to jump on, I'll probably just go hang out at the Discord server, which I actually forgot to put in the description. I will get that in just a moment. If you'd like to come hang out with us on the Discord server. I don't know if it shut me out or not. It didn't. I'll eventually get to it though, y'all. Let's see here. Invite people. But I'll get this link in the description as soon as I can. But for now, I'll just type it in the chat twice, I guess. But yeah, it'd be nice for y'all to come out. No pressure. You could just come listen in or tell us about your testimony, and or if you want to, you don't even have to speak. But we love to hear your testimony. We love to hear from people and get to know people. We're a small group of people that are what I call set apart. The question I have is, are we considered the woman, or are we considered the remnant of our offspring? And that's just what I've been just really studying into lately, is end time prophecy and things of that nature. And the things I've been seeing has been very clear, but it's difficult to put out there all at once. But hopefully the person that shared this with me will be on with us soon. I talked with him briefly the other day, so maybe that could become a thing, possibly weekly. At least I hope so. I'm praying so. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go get in the Discord, get me something to eat. And again, thank y'all for coming out. And if you forgot to, or if you want to, hit that like button for me. And if you think about it, or if you want to, comment in the description. If uh, sometime or another, and I'll leave in the description. Comment in the comments, but I will leave the link to the Discord in the description shortly after I post the video. But much love, everybody. Shalom. Please like, share, subscribe. Tell all your friends about it. I'll talk with anybody. But maybe we'll see y'all next time. Peace.